I should be like you, Mel.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Hello, good morning. It's 8 a.m. here in the UK, and of course it's 5 p.m. across the world in Oz, and that can only mean one thing. It's On the Sidelines with myself, Matt, and my co-host, Paul from Oz. Paul, great to be back. How you doing?
Yeah, it is, and it's been a while, Matt. Lovely. It's been a beautiful day, 12 degrees at the moment. A beautiful day, a bit windy this morning, but, you know, them's the breaks, mate. That's winter in Australia, but what do you got today, Matt?
Yes, we've actually had some rain this week, which has been nice, surprisingly, to say. But yeah, it's beautiful. I've already been out this morning, and yeah, beautiful clear blue skies. So yeah, I'm sure we're going to have a very nice day again. But yes, the Premier League season is back. It all kicked off last night with Arsenal beating Coventry 3-0 at the Emirates. And of course, this is our preview show for the Premier League. And this show, we've got a whole lot of contributions for some great channels and also some great supporters of the show as well. So big thank you to everybody who has contributed to this show. We will come to the comments in a second. But first, where else do we start with an On the Sidelines? But let's start with Spot the Ball. And as always, Paul hasn't seen the picture until now, and this is a picture of Bournemouth versus City from a couple of seasons ago. And as always, guys, get your guesses in, A, B, C, or D. Do pop them into the comments. I'll star them, and we'll have a look at your answers at the end of the show. But yeah, A, B, C, or D. Paul, you've had a little look now. Which one are you going with?
Wish we had the three missing players that were in that photo, mate. But B for me.
Say again?
I'm going B. Yep.
You're going B. Right, okay. Excellent. Well, what we'll do is we'll leave it on there for a couple of seconds more, because we've got a lot to go with, get through in this show. So, but yeah, I see some guesses coming in. Excellent. So I shall star those guesses now. Thank you, guys. Ooh, you coming through there. So yeah, but been a good summer, hasn't it, Paul? It's been nice, but we're itching for the football now, aren't we?
Oh, very much, mate. I can't believe I'm actually going to get up in the morning and watch Bournemouth. You know, brilliant. But yeah, as you say, Matt, and a big thank you to you, Matt, personally. I know what the amount of work you've done on this show has been unbelievable. Give you a round of applause, mate, if I was there. Well done. It's going to be exciting. And for those people that haven't seen us before or are joining us for the first time, if you guys would be kind enough just to hit the like button and press the subscribe button. It's free to subscribe. It certainly helps. and helps myself and Matt. I love you to subscribe, guys. Fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Paul. And should we just quickly jump into the comments? I'll leave the image on the screen
Sure.
for a few moments more. But first in today was Dave DaCosta. Good morning, Matt and Paul and everyone in the chat. Good day from 14 degrees Melbourne. Well, the new season is almost here. Getting excited. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for joining us as always. And of course, Malcolm. Good morning, Matt and Paul, and all in the chat. A high of 19 degrees here today, and one more sleep. Absolutely. It is like Christmas Eve, isn't it, Malcolm? It definitely is. Julie's in. Good morning to you both. We are all looking forward to the show and the season. Absolutely. Great to have you back with us, Julie, as always. And of course, another regular, Chris Hubble. Great to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. And Chris said, morning to David. Nice little bit of chat between the two. Up the cherries indeed, Chris. Absolutely. Vanessa, welcome back. Looking forward to it. Finally, we can say we've had rain. Absolutely. Yeah, we had some rain. David, good morning, Matt and Paul. Good to see you both. Good to see you as well.
Dave's in Wimborne, mate. So, it's Nick. Hi, Nick.
Nick's in as well, who's recently just done a great show on Atalanta. Fantastic. Really good watch. So do check his channel out if you haven't seen it already. Oh, there's a guest there. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Look at this, eh? Max Williams. Who was that again? Please remind me, Paul.
I think it's Tony.
Tony.
Everton, I think. Yeah, I think. It's confusing, isn't it? That one.
Yeah. Everton, yeah, it is. Everton and Bournemouth wins. Absolutely. Let's go, Toffees and Cherries. I don't think we'll be saying that next week, but yeah, absolutely, Tony. Great to have you on board, mate. Yeah, cheers, David. Thanks for that. Nick, Spurs to finish 17th again, Dave.
He's got that wrong. It's going to be 18th. So.
Well, we will see. But what we're going to do first is this: there ain't going to be any predictions or any music section. This is literally all involvement from other channels and other people, and we're just going to really get their thoughts on what they think their teams are going to do this season. And me and Paul will give our little bits of opinion. But what we are going to start with is just to get Paul's opinion on tomorrow's game. Man City, Bournemouth. Obviously, for my opinion, that would be out later today in the Dean Court Social. Dean Court Social a little bit later this week. We've had a lot going on. So, yes, my opinion would be out later. But, Paul, I'm going to hand it over to you and give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it'll be brief. We've never won there. Bournemouth have never won at Man City. So, there's always a first time, guys. But I think both teams seems to have had a very successful pre-season. But again, what does that matter? I'm not sure. Both teams have got new managers, so they're both going to be out to impress. It's going to be an interesting game. I think our big loss is, I think if we had Junior Krupi, I'd feel very happy. But as you know, he's injured till possibly early November. Look, my heart says I want to draw. My head says I'm afraid. I'm not sure. I think I put down 2-0. On my prediction, or 2-1 City, and I hate saying it, but I just want to be realistic. There's not many teams go there and get anything. To be honest, the atmosphere there is obviously incredible. I want Bournemouth to win, and I'll be over the moon if they do, Matt. And I'm being honest. Yeah. I'm not going to come out with any brilliant 3-1 away wins or anything, but you never know, do you? You never know. But tough. Both got new managers, so we'll see. If there was a great show Craig did with Harry Redknapp. If you haven't seen it, have a look at it, because Harry said that he felt that City wouldn't even finish in the top 4 this season. So have a look at that. It's on YouTube under Up the Cherries. Brilliant. Tough City tonight. Yeah.
I've also got to say. I've also got to say that I agree there. I think I don't think City may have the impact that everybody thinks that they may have. But interesting to see. Interesting to see. But Tony says, very honest, Paul, got to be realistic. So, yeah. I think I've got a slightly different opinion, but my opinion will be out later on. But let's get started with the show then and the contributions. So we've got as many contributions as we can. We also got Dylan a little bit later on as well from the transfer show, who's going to give us his rundown on where he thinks everybody's going to finish in the league. There's also the tier list out on the channel as well, where Doug from the Dugout Football Channel joined us, and we did the tier list with him and Craig. But let's kick things off, and I think it's only fair to do so with the current champions, Paul. So should we hear from a regular on the channel? He's been on the sidelines before, and that's Manny.
Yep.
Hello to everyone at Up the Cherries in all departments. Craig, Matt, everyone involved. And I want to start by saying I'm very sorry for sending this video at the last minute. So I've been asked to give a preview on Arsenal's season. And of course, as we speak, I am watching our first game at the Emirates up against Frank Lampard's Coventry City. We won the championship last season, the Premiership, I should say. And I'm going to be one of those honest fans who will say right now that as grateful as I am that we've won, I am not going to gas it up as an amazing triumph when I've seen much better triumphs during my 36 years of supporting the club. And we had a lot of good fortune last season, although I will be, fair enough to say that academically no other team could catch us. So we deserve to be champions. The big question is, can we do it again? In terms of the transfer activity, we had a huge lull this season where we weren't able to get many of the players we wanted. We have, of course, signed Christos Solis, Bruno Guimaraes, and just recently in the last few hours, the last 24 hours, we've signed Ezri Konsa from Aston Villa, among a few others. And we are still trying to negotiate the possibility of sending a few of our existing players away from the club, either on loan or permanently. But Arteta's going to have a pretty difficult season, and I know a lot of people have predicted that we will win again, we will defend our title, but it isn't going to be all that simple, because in as much as the bigger teams are now going to be in transition with new managers and certainly some new players coming in, it's actually a really good thing, because they know now that they've got to start moving forward, they've got to start taking things seriously, and in many ways they've got nothing to lose. We, on the other hand, have everything to lose. So we need to make sure that we are on the ball every single game. And after about 7 minutes, it's 0-0 at the Emirates, but we do have a corner. I hope we can score, although I won't let you know if we do. And I hope that we can retain the title. But it is imperative that our squad is managed better and that we take each game seriously, and that the manager also becomes a lot more ruthless and doesn't bother to show any favoritism towards certain players of his who have played under him for a long time. My prediction is, of course, that we should win. I'd like to see us win. But if we don't win the Premiership and at least another domestic cup this season, I think serious questions will now have to be asked about Mikel Arteta. And it could very well be that his time should be up. So I will say, good luck, Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. Let's try and do it again. And if we do, full credit goes to the manager and the team. Cheers, everyone.
Lost your sound, Matt.
Yeah, sorry guys, some issues there with the internet, so I've had to quickly switch over and all sorts there. So thank you to Manny. Couple of points in there. Manny is awesome, which he absolutely is. Malcolm said Arsenal played some super football last night. Yes, and the new signing definitely impressed me as well from what I saw of it. And yeah, Chris also agrees with Malcolm there. Just quickly on the last point, when we talk about Bournemouth City, Nick saying, got to be able to dream as well, Paul. And I'm calling a 2-2 draw at the Etihad, which, yeah, absolutely, you have got to dream, I think, as a football fan sometimes. And sometimes you have got to be realistic as well. So, but yeah, absolutely good point there. But I think for Arsenal, Paul, I personally think they're going to retain the title myself. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I
No,
think they've got a good chance to do it.
they've spent a lot of money. They're good at spending money, Matt, but buying it. But there's a lot of top teams. But no, I'm putting them runners up, mate. They're bottle merchants. They'll have a great run. They'll be top till Christmas, and off we go again. And they'll get the odd defeat. And it's only an opinion, and it's great that we've got different opinions. My number one. Do you want to know who it's going to be, or do you want to wait? Who I think's going to win it?
Let us know. Let us know towards the. Actually, no, go on, do it now. Go on.
Yeah, I'm back in Andoni. I'm back in Liverpool, 100%. This guy had 6 of his best players sold from under him, and look where he got us. I mean, the guy's a magician. He's got Arteta's number. He knows how to beat Arsenal. We beat him all the time. Bournemouth beat him all the time, Matt. I'm definitely going with Liverpool to win the league. Yeah, opinion. There you go.
Yeah.
So,
We have difference of opinion on that one for definite. But let's listen from one of the new teams in the league. Been in the league before. I've got a funny feeling. Actually, our record home win is against this side from many years ago, and of course that's Hull City. So this is Sam from the Hull City Fan Central. And this is what he's got to say about Hull this season.
Hello there, I'm Sam from the Hull City Fan Central YouTube channel. Now, Hull City are getting ready to near their return to Premier League football. They are back in the English top flight, ready to play their first bit of Premier League football in just over 9 years. Now, they're hoping that they can come back with a boom. Yes, it is going to be a very tough test for the Tigers. This is probably one of the tougher tests for any of the 3 promoted clubs to try and survive in the Premier League for quite a long time. Lots of people tipping the 3 that have just come up for the 3 to go back down. Hull City being the favourites to finish rock bottom of the Premier League. Well, what I say to that is Hull City were tipped to finish rock bottom of the Championship last season, and we know how that went with them going on that historic run and finishing up winning in the 95th minutes at Wembley. I'm not saying that it's going to finish all hunky-dory like that, but I think the Hull City might impress a few teams and a few fan bases this upcoming season. My personal thoughts on the upcoming season would be for Hull City to just narrowly stay up in the Premier League. I'll be happy with a final day delight winning and staying up in the Premier League for the next season. Transfer-wise, for the Tigers, it has been a bit of a usual shaky affair for the Tigers, where they have now started to pick up the players that fit right within the squad, and certainly for a right price tag. The signing, or the re-addition, I should say, of Joe Gelhardt seems to be that statement one to the fans to say that the club are listening, to say that the ownership in Adjan Ilajali is listening to the fans, and they are bringing back the players that the fans want to see, as well as building a good, young, exciting squad. We've seen the likes of Elliot Stroud, Tzlakis, the young Greek goalkeeper, plenty of other young, hungry players within the squad that have got experience in Europe at top levels, and of course with Champions League pedigree around the squad as well. So it seems like Hull City trying to follow that Sunderland model that seemed to work for the Black Cats last season and replicate it into their own essence this upcoming season. Of course, with the manager Sergei Yakirovich, who did the wondrous job last season bringing together a band of, many call them misfits, and bringing them together and bringing them on that historic run. As I have said, it seems like he will be able to steer this squad around and put them into good stead to fight in the Premier League. Only time will tell to see if Hull City can do the job in the Premier League. A little bit more business is needed to be done before City can call themselves a side to compete in staying up in the league, but I think that they will get it done. I believe that they will be there and be ready to put some fan bases and some teams to the test this upcoming season with their style of play, with the lack of style of play at some points, and with the togetherness of the squad heading into this Premier League campaign.
Well, there we are, and a big thank you to Sam. And there was some real passion there And I love that. I mean, everyone is putting what Hull to finish last. Hands up, I've done the same thing. But who knows? And there's a good comment here from Dominic. Sunderland and Leeds managed to stay in the league, so who knows? Absolutely, absolutely. So, Paul, your thoughts on Hull? Is it unfortunate that they're going to go straight back down, or do you think they can fight and stay up?
Yeah, one of my good friends who's watching the show is a lifelong Hull City supporter, Wayne. Hi, Wayne. Look, I'd love to see him stay up. I love English clubs. The guy's a real character on there. Good luck to him, Sam. Great video, Matt.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for that.
It's going to be a struggle. When Bournemouth came up, whenever it was, a few years back, the gap is incredible, and they're going to struggle. I guess we'll see where they're at Christmas, mate, and then they'll know if they're going to spend or what. But what do you think?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think they're going to go back down.
It's sad.
Yeah. No, I've actually placed them bottom, but who knows. This is the thing with football. It's great that we can kind of predict and give our opinions on it, but who knows who's going to finish where. And like Malcolm says here, the season will be super competitive and expect some surprises. And I think on our tier list, we've got an established Premier League club that goes down, but to find out who that is, you'll have to tune into the tier list. So let's go with our next club then. So we're going to go with the current Europa League winners in Aston Villa. And we've got Chad from the Villa Forever podcast. He's been on this channel and we've been on his channel. Craig's done a lot of work with him in the past as well. Great channel. So Sam's channel, the whole channel, and Chad's channel, do check them out and do give them a sub if you can. But this is what Chad had to tell us about Villa's up and coming season.
Well, thank you for your question. So, the Cherries have asked me what the hopes are for the season and what I'm expecting for Aston Villa and Unai Emery for a new campaign. Well, this summer, there's been a lot of changes in the squad. It's been a summer rebuild, and even losing our set-piece coach, ultimately, I think it's going to take time to adjust with some of these changes. And we're going to miss the likes of Yuri Tielemans and Morgan Rogers. But I've been excited with the new signings that have come through the door. Looks at Zombie, Joel Gomez, Garnacho, Suzuki, and I think our squad depth is even stronger than last season with the options we've got in the squad. And we do know Emery. I actually think we can do well in the Champions League. He wants to go one better than he did last time was in the Champions League. Last time was in the quarterfinals. I think we can actually get to the Champions League semi-finals. And Emery is a great manager, especially in balancing two competitions together. And obviously we are fighting on forefronts, but Premier League and Champions League is the main priority. Possibly I won't see another cup maybe. Don't know if that's asking too much, but possibly maybe a FA Cup or like something like that to win. But there's a lot of things to be excited about for the new season. And also remarkable, Unai Emery once again has been under a lot of financial restrictions, PSR, SER. But with Emery, he gets on with it, he never complains. And, he's built a good squad with limited resources. I think we will finish sixth, I think. Based on the Champions League, there's going to be tougher competition with teams in there. There's been some bigger challenges. But if you can remain consistent, overall, I think we're set for another great season. Thank you so much for helping me getting involved. Get it up the cherries. Thank you, and up the middle.
And that's Chad there with his thoughts on Villa's season. Do you know what? I think he's got a very good point there in the manager, great manager. Good in European competitions. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see Villa go far in the Champions League. And, sixth in the league, yeah, why not? I think that's quite realistic, even though, comment here from Malcolm, where he feels sorry for losing for Villa for losing so many top players. But the top manager for me is where they can prove some doubters wrong, and I think they could be on for a good season even with the players they've lost. Paul.
Yeah, and they might be losing Ollie Watkins, according to what I've been hearing today, before the end of the transfer. What's it? But for me, I don't know. He's a great manager, but what can he do on the field? It's what he's got left around him. It's a big arse, mate, with the FA Cup, the League Cup, and the Champions League. And he's lost these players. I'm going for more. I'm going for more of an 8th or 9th myself. But I'm not sure about that. Then we'll see. But that's me. Yeah. That's
Okay.
Me.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's just jump back into the comments before we move on to our next team. Tony says the Tigers, this is going back to Hull, will give it a fight, but probably will struggle. Good to see them back in the Premiership. Could be a very strange season with 8 managers being appointed since Marco Rosa took his first training session.
Yeah.
Definitely. John's in. Hi, Paul and Matt. Young Johnny.
Hi, John.
He's listening in.
I'm in Snives. I've never St Ives. That should be St Ives, not Snives. Tulumbar is near heading into Albion Park down the south coast, mate. Lovely spot. There you go. Lovely spot. There you go. Yeah, lovely. It's got a beautiful area down there.
Used to go caravanning at the beach at Barrack Point.
Yeah.
Lovely part of the world. Good on you, Chad. You're a
manager?
legend.
Was that the new Scottish manager back there on that one? Just flick back that. That's
Basil Brush.
I think it's the new Scottish boss, isn't it? Could be with the maybe.
They have appointed him. Good on you, Chad. You're a legend. Nice one, Chad. Good luck.
Nice part of the world. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Caught up on the comments. Big thank you to Chad for his contribution there. And now we're going to move over to Leeds. Now, a gentleman called Adam sent us a video. He does a blogging. I don't think he does YouTube. He does blogging, but he has sent us a video. And his blog's called The World After the Bell, I believe it's called. It will be on the screen anyway. There you go. His channel will be on the his blog will be on the graphic. So do check him out. And a big thank you to him. And this is what he had to say.
Hello guys, Adam here from After the Bell, a Leeds United blog, and thank God the Premier League is back today. If you're like me, I haven't known what to do with myself since the World Cup ended, besides obsessively check socials for any sign of transfer news with regards to my club. Not much has happened, however. I think Leeds will need to build on what was a very solid season last season. Thankfully, Leeds and Sunderland were able to break the curse of Premier Leagues getting promoted and instantly getting relegated again. We were extremely lucky last year in that our recruitment paid off. There were signs at the start of the season where we were asking where the goals were going to come from. But Farke obviously changed to his fabled 5 at the back at Man City that we were all, as fans, crying out for. It felt like it it gave us some defensive solidity and brought some of the more attacking players into the game. You know, Calvert-Lewin really flourished. We were really lucky to keep him fit all last season. No, Okafor went through a bit of form at just the right moment, especially scoring 2 goals against them at Old Trafford. So I think a good season for us this season would be building on the solid foundations that we started last year. 14th place finish last year, probably more than we can ask for, as well as getting to the semi-final of the FA Cup. So I think this season it needs to be about pushing on, being consistent, looking like we're not out of place in the league, and hopefully push towards kind of 11th or 12th. I don't want to go too high with this. A lot of the Premier League is in flux this year. A lot of managerial changes. I look at clubs like Fulham, managerial change, lost some good players in Raul Jimenez and Harry Wilson. I don't think they've particularly replaced them well. Palace, do they have the squad depth and quality for a European push? I'm not enamoured by Dwight McNeil's signing. Sunderland, I don't think have the quality needed to sustain a European push and Premier League games. So I think this could be a really good year for someone like Leeds to establish themselves. My main concern obviously would be around Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We don't really have another striker who can do what he does. He's very good at holding the ball up, winning headers defensively, occupying defenders, putting the ball in the back of the net. Lucas Mecha does a good job at finishing when he comes in, but he doesn't really have the same all-round play as Calvert-Lewin. And I'd be worried about Ampadu as well, going down injured. We're on the verge of bringing in Nico Elvedi from Borussia Mönchengladbach. He looks like a good signing. 318 Bundesliga appearances, as well as 70 international appearances for Switzerland. So I think recruitment has been good. James Trafford and Tariq Muharmovic, 74 million outlay on those, as well as Harry Wilson on a free transfer. I feel like we're probably looking at bringing in a striker and a left winger as well. There's a lot of talk about that, to build upon what we have and hopefully establish ourselves in that kind of middle tier who never really flirt with relegation. Might get dragged in at some point, but it's never too realistic for them to be relegated. I think thankfully as well, the bottom three the 3 promoted teams this year, they don't look particularly strong. So I think that combined with the amount of flux in the league this year, as well as Leeds' stability under Farka, should help us to consolidate our position. Alternatively, the board will look at it and think we've spent quite a lot of money on incomings, and if we are struggling kind of maybe October, November time, I could potentially see them pulling the trigger and trying to hire someone new, because they have actually backed Farka this summer. But hopefully a season of consolidation. Leeds.
And thank you there to Adam. Paul, Leeds then. It sounds like Adam will be, quite happy with sort of 11th, 12th position. Do you think that's, being realistic? Or, I mean, I've spoken to some people and they think Leeds could possibly put on a European, go for those European places, considering who they've signed in this window.
No, I think he's hit it on the head. He's talking mid-table. I think for me, that's where he's going to end up. I mean, I was watching or reading something the other day that they said 50% of Leeds fans liked Farka and 50% didn't. So if he's not doing too well at Christmas, there could be rumblings within that club. I don't know. I'm just an outsider, but it's just an opinion. So, yeah, I think that sounds about right, Tony. Yeah, to me the same. Yeah, what do you reckon, Matt?
Yeah, I can't actually remember where we placed them in the tier list. But yeah, I think, sort of around the positions, Adam has said is quite realistic. But at the same time, if they were pushing up to that sort of 8th, 9th position, I don't think it would surprise me personally. But yeah, we'll see. But let's just quickly go through the chat and then we'll get on with the next team. Yeah. Sean, hello. Hope you're well. Craig saying hi to Sean there. Chris saying hi to Craig. Everybody saying hello to everybody here. Yeah, lovely. Malcolm, Leeds had a great second half of last season. No reason for them to worry about relegation. Stable mid-table finish. Absolutely. Morning to you, Brian. Besides Arsenal and Man City, anyone could be anywhere from challenging the title to relegation. So many unknowns. Yeah, quite possibly. I think Leeds are going to be helped by many European teams.
Right. Okay. Possibly players Farker knows in Europe. I think maybe that's what he means. I'm not sure.
Or is that a case of teams that are playing in Europe?
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
Might
Getting over COVID. Yeah.
possibly as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Interesting comment, that one. So thank you for your input there.
Yeah.
So let's go to Brentford. Obviously, Bournemouth know Brentford very well from all the years that we played together in the old Division 2, later on League 1. And obviously now I think they must be in their 6th season in the Premier League for Brentford.
I think it's coming up about the same as us, Matt. I think you're about right. Yeah.
I think obviously we've had more seasons in the Premier League than Brentford. But I think consecutively this is their 6th season, I think.
Yeah.
And I think they've done very well to be where they are. Keith Andrews also surprised a lot of people, definitely surprised me last season. But this is Mr. B, well-known Brentford fan, who's going to give us his take on Brentford's season. So over to Mr. B.
Big up up the Cherries and all their supporters and members. This is Mr. B, also known as Steve, which is my real name, of course. But I'm here to do a preview for our 6th season in the Premier. An amazing season last season, finishing 9th, equaling our previous best under Thomas Frank. And this time we're looking to go a step further. We have also got assistant coach now in Damien Duff, which means we will obviously add that extra help there for Andrews, of course. Keith Andrews, his 2nd season in charge, and it really helps him. And I believe we are going to get that extra step now in getting to Europe this season. We've got new signings, of course, and still adding. Obviously, our big signing is Mamadou Sangare from Lens for 39 million. Of course, Jayden Anthony from Burnley, 17 million. Yannick Schuster from Red Bull Salzburg, 16.5 million. And of course, Callum Wilson on a free from West Ham. So, really, we're looking good. And also, we're adding to our squad. It's a really big squad. Players coming back from injury. I feel we've got now some extra quality. And obviously, Igor Thiago to actually carry on his great goal-scoring form from last season. And I believe we've got other goals in the team now as well. So I believe really that we're going to be buzzing and actually sting a lot of teams this season yet again. And prove a lot of people wrong yet again. Some people having us as relegation, of course, last season. But that is not happening this season at all. I feel we've got that extra bit to take us a bit further. And I think we're going to finish 7th. Also get close to a Carabao Cup. We've been in the quarterfinals at least twice now in the last 2 seasons. So, yes, I think it's all good for the Bees. So up the Cherries and up the Bees. And thank you guys once again. And let's hope we all do well. Obviously the Cherries and the Bees this coming season. And thank you all guys once again. I'm out of here. Cheers, guys.
Well, that was Mr. B. So Mr. B thinks that they're going to sting a few sides this season. I think they will. I think they've been very clever in the transfer market. And like Malcolm says here, Brentford are his dark horses for a European spot and always very competitive. Yeah, I kind of agree with Mr. B. I mean, last year I got it completely wrong with them, but I think this year they're going to be on to a very good season, Paul.
Yeah, I do too. They've got a really professional setup, haven't they? Could be at the expense of a team like Brighton. I think they could possibly get the Conference League. Well, they're going to be in and around that area for sure. Um, yeah, great accent. Love his accent, mate. Classic London. Love it.
Yeah,
Bit
yeah.
of only fours and horses going on there, weren't there, Matt? I think. But love it. Well done, Steve. Top stuff. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Or as Mr. B, as we all know him as, and yeah, great to have your involvement, buddy. And yeah, good luck to you. Apart from when you face the Cherries, but and I think Malcolm's got a good point here. Definitely could be on for a European spot this year, and it's great to see how far both clubs have come. Back in the days, I remember going to Griffin Park and watching us, on a Tuesday night, get beaten 6-0. I think it was in the old Johnson Paint Trophy or whatever it was called at the time, and I had plenty of Saturdays going up there, and it was one of my favourite old grounds to go to back in the day. But yeah, great to see how far both clubs have come. It's amazing. So many fans are saying teams like Forest, Brentford, QPR, Fulham will get relegated. Yet we are never mentioned. Still hard to believe from where we was. Yeah, good point there. But QPR,
No.
they're in the Championship, I believe, on that one, Sean. But yeah, it's always good to see that we're not being mentioned in that, unless you're Paul Merson. I believe Paul Merson has said.
Did he?
I believe so. I think that's what I heard. I haven't seen it myself, but I think that's what someone was telling me, that Paul Merson had said with us being in Europe, we may struggle, but we're here a little bit more about Bournemouth shortly. Crystal Palace, yeah, there you go. Thanks, Sean. Right, we've lucky to be able to hear from 3 people now for Manchester United. And that is a few of the guys from the Cream of Manchester podcast, who's going to let us know their thoughts and some opinions on Manchester United for this up and coming season. So over to the guys.
Far better than it was five
there.
5 years ago in terms of atmosphere. And I think the team are on the cusp of something. We don't want to be always battling with the club, especially when we think the team is on the edge of winning something. I think United could certainly come close to the title next season. And as you said, Luca, we've just got to get behind them and suck some of this up, but we don't have to like it.
Can they do it with current squad, both here? Go for you first, Pete, as you're on a roll. You think that they're potential title contenders? Most of the transfer virgins who forcing their way onto my feed since Musk took over the internet seems to think United are hopeless, and they've got incredible expertise because they've got computers.
Yes, they have, and fingertips. I think some of the signings we've made in the last 3 years are coming to fruition. I remember I went to a friendly at Glasgow Rangers 2 years ago, and I loved what I saw from Yoro and a few of the other young lads that were brought in. I liked what I saw with Heaven, so he got injured only about 6 games in. I think those lads are good. I think there's more youngsters coming through, but they alone can't win you the title right away. I just think United's got a very, very strong squad with some real stars in it. And we've got a manager who knows about playing the United way. He didn't get every game right after he took over last year. Newcastle away and Leeds at home. We went back with almost Amarich. But I think he knows the way you've got to play the way United should play, which is on the front foot, going forward with power and pace. And I think that's what we'll see this season.
Luca, are you as confident as Pete is?
I wish I was, Pete. I'm really sorry. But I think we're still a good few signings off it, to be honest with you. I mean, gosh, I barely remember the last time we won the league. I remember bits from it. Definitely needs some strengthening in areas. But then again, last season it was quite open in the end. I didn't think Arsenal were worthy of winning the league. But then again, who was? Not really anyone. So it's possible that this season's going to be open again, and you never know.
I outlined my view of the positives of United, but each of the contenders now is just at a slight more disadvantage than last season. City have lost Pep. Liverpool have lost fellow that succeeded Klopp. I think Arsenal, I don't think they'll deliberately focus on, but I think when it gets to March and April, or go for the Champions League this time, I don't think they'll throw the league away or anything like that. So they're there. Chelsea is just it's just about throwing 200 darts at the board and hoping you hit the bullseye. They might hit the bullseye, they might not. So it's I think the opposition are a bit weaker, but not weak, but weaker, and that we'll just come through. But I've been wrong before, Vance.
Pete, Sky Sports have a supercomputer that put, I think, Arsenal to retain the title, City second, Liverpool third, and United fourth, and it had, I think, Tottenham fifth or something like that. Do you think that Sky Sports computers a lot of old Tommy rot?
I don't believe a computer can predict the league table for the next.
I'll remind you,
months.
it's a supercomputer, Pete.
Ah, you didn't mention that, right? Okay. No, I don't think they can predict the league title from this far in advance. If they can do it when it's the last 10 games or whatever, that'll have some stuff in it. But I'm not sure what they put into their supercomputer. But no, for once now, back Pete, don't back the supercomputer.
Luca, who's your favourite? Who's your money going on to finish with?
I think Arsenal will win the league.
Yeah. God, I think there'll be miles more scrutiny on this time, but I'm really not intrigued, to see how City and Liverpool go on. Just hope, I'm praying that we don't have to hope that City win again, so Liverpool can't.
And there we go. The guys from Cream of Manchester podcast. Two very different opinions there, Paul. Two very different opinions. And the supercomputer as well being mentioned there, the Sky Sports supercomputer. It put Bournemouth 8th, which I think we'd all take, especially if we have a good run in Europe. But yeah, for me, United, I still think defensively, I think they need to maybe enforce a little bit. They've got a good goalkeeper now, I think. In the Belgium international goalkeeper that they've got, and he's young as well, which is good for longevity. I think they've been quite clever with their midfield signings. I think that they will finish up there. But what's your opinion? Where do you think United are going to finish?
Well, I think they've got the right manager. The first time in 3 or 4 seasons, they've had some horror shows, haven't they? The people they've had in that job have been awful, some of them, and stayed too long. But I'm thinking maybe top 6. Bottom, somebody said on their bottom of the top 6. I think I agree with that. Bournemouth, we always give them a really good game. Often, we've beaten them so many times. And we'll probably beat them again this season. Don't worry about that. But that's an opinion as well. Computer said no. Yeah, very good. Get a job. I'm thinking somewhere 6th, 7th. United. They could win the FA Cup and get into Europe. They're a cup team too. If they get the right games. But it's my thoughts, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And point here from Malcolm. United are a top 4 club on current squad depth and quality. They won't have the first half of the season like the last one, which is true. And Carrick has got the team into a good position. Now, I've spoken to a few Man United fans. Some of my in-laws are United fans. And speaking to some fans out there, I think they're quite split on Carrick still in some respects. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I keep saying to them, in Carrick you should trust, and some think that he's going to do a good job, and some think it might be the same old sort of cycle that's been going on in recent years there. But we'll see. Some very interesting opinions though from the guys at Cream of Manchester podcast. So a big thank you to them for joining us and giving us their opinions. Let's move on to another European winner. Let's move on to Palace, who obviously won the Conference League last season. here we go very quickly before we move on. Carrick, not the man. Interesting, Tony. Interesting. Let's see. The season will tell. But here we've got Rich. We've worked with Rich before at the Eagle Eyed Football Podcast with Palace review previews, and they've also been on match reactions and things like that. Really good channel, so do check them out. But this is what Rich had to say about Palace.
This is Rich from the YouTube channel Eagle Eyed Football, Crystal Palace fan here. And thanks once again for giving me the opportunity to kind of contribute to your show and talk to you about Palace and what my expectations and ambitions are for the upcoming season. Now, obviously, just a bit of a context. Obviously, we've won the Conference League last season, which brings us into the Europa League this season. So it's going to be another season where we'll soon be playing Thursday, Sunday football. And one thing that we did find quite difficult last year was juggling the Thursday, Sunday schedule, especially with a very small squad. Now, some may argue that the squad maybe wasn't that small and that Glasner didn't himself utilise the squad as best as he could. And that's something our new gaffer, Pierre Sarge, has definitely been utilised, especially during pre-season. Some may say, obviously, he wants to see how they are. Others are saying, obviously, we had a lot of players in the World Cup, so they've come back late from international duty. Hence why, the likes of Pino and Mateta haven't had a pre-season game with us yet. So fingers crossed they have a behind closed doors game this week before we obviously play Everton on Saturday. But yeah, regarding the season, it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a very tough start. Obviously, Sarge is going to be new to the Premier League. Done an excellent job at Lens last season, finishing second and also winning the French Cup. And he plays a very intense style of football, a lot of pressing. Same formation as Glasner, but I think the two tens are more so wide players as opposed to inside tens. But yeah, lots of pressing, sometimes with a high line. So there's a lot of adjustments for our team, a lot of adjustments for the players, and obviously I feel like when it comes to the transfer market, we've kind of dealt with the depth well, but we haven't yet replaced Maxence Lacroix, in my personal opinion. And I think that's really a key one because currently we have Chris Richards playing as central centre-back, and I think he's better as a right or a left-sided centre-back as opposed to central centre-back. So hopefully, obviously with the window closing in about 2 weeks, I believe, hopefully we get that position addressed. But outside of that, there are obviously rumours regarding like Wharton and Mateta and Munoz, and so hopefully we keep them because obviously we've got a long season ahead. I'll take finishing 17th if it means we win the Europa League. Could you even think like the thought of winning the Europa League and Crystal Palace in the Champions League is crazy. But all in all, yeah, we just want to make sure we stay in the division. Especially, like I said, it's not easy to juggle Thursday, Sunday. Yeah, as long as we stay in the division, we'll be good. But I really want us to really tackle that Europa League. That I don't know the next time we're ever going to be in Europe. And after the last year and a half, it's been nothing but success for Palace. So, hey.
There we go. Rich's thoughts on Palace. So yeah, obviously a new manager. Seems like to play the high press. Similar formation to Glasner. So it looks like there's going to be some changes for their players to get used to. I think, since January with Mark Gay going, and they've lost a few this window. The signing of Dwight McNeil doesn't really excite me, which is something I think Adam said in his preview. I personally think they can struggle this year. Unfortunately, there's always got to be teams that struggle. It's the nature of the game, but I think it's going to be Palace. Paul.
Yeah, I'm thinking 15th. I mean, they've got a massive season coming up. They've got Zaha, who's a free agent, is training with them. Wilfried Zaha, he's 33, talented player, loves to fall over at every opportunity, but as I remember. And they've just lost Nathaniel Klein, who has made over 250 appearances. Remember, he played with Bournemouth on loan, 220. A lot of changes going on out there, and with Europe, yeah, I think they could struggle. I think I'm agreeing with you, Matt. I'm thinking bottom six. Yeah, and good luck to them if that's what they can do and do well in Europe. That's a good season, I guess, for them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. A couple of comments. Shakhtar Donetsk will play all their Champions League home games at Stamford Bridge. Interesting. Didn't know that. Thanks for that bit of info. Malcolm Palace could really struggle this season and in danger of dropping down. Yeah, I do agree there. But yeah, thanks to Rich. Great channel, and we look forward to working with you again this season. Right, a familiar face on the channel. He's done a couple of videos for us before. He's always in the chat, and he's a Spurs fan. And he's going to be hoping that it's not a record third season that they finish 17th. But let's listen and hear the thoughts on Spurs for the new season from Mr. Da Costa.
Good morning, Matt and Paul, and everybody in the chat. It's David here from Melbourne, Australia. My thoughts for Spurs this season. After the fiasco of the last two seasons, of finishing 17th twice and 4 different managers, we have finally picked the right man in Roberto. We have now strengthened the squad with 6 new players at a cost of 2.67 million. Sorry, it's 267 million. With players being sold, we have recouped, and the balance basically now is 185 million spent so far. And if we believe the club, at least another 2 players are to come in. It will be exciting to watch Tonali, Fernandes and Gallagher in midfield, with Tell left wing, Kudus right wing, plus we've got Maddison and Simmons when they finally come back, if they're not injured again, and some very talented youngsters if they get a chance to play, and of course our 2 new strikers if we sign them. Concerns for the new season? We've settled on Kinski in goal, and we have a very strong defence, midfield, and our main problem is our strikers. Can't score. Ricarlson scored 11 last season, don't know how. And Mr. Solanke 3. Not good enough for your 2 main strikers. Plus they're always injured. Kane and Son always scored at least 40 goals between them, and we've never replaced them. And Solanke is injured again. Our defence and midfield scored 28 goals between them, so our forwards are definitely our biggest weakness. Where will we finish in the league this season? Good question. If we bring in the strikers who can score, I predict a top 8 finish. If we don't get the strikers, then we will struggle and finish mid-table. With no European football this year, we can concentrate on maybe a good cup run and a higher finish with less games to play. Good luck to the Cherries this season with their European challenge and hopefully a top 10 finish. I am a Bournemouth boy and have supported Bournemouth for over 60 years. I'd like to thank Matt and Paul for inviting me on your show once again. Always tune in to On the Sidelines. Keep up your great work. Cheers, David.
And that was Dave Da Costa there with his thoughts on Spurs. Do kind of understand his point there on the forward line. Obviously, they have never really replaced those goals, have they, from, the likes of Kane and Song. But I don't know. I think they can possibly challenge this year. I do think so. I think, they probably will get a couple of signings more across the line before the transfer window ends. It is unfortunate with the injuries, isn't it, that Dom has picked up and Rickardson. But they've got to be in a stronger position, Paul, than they have been for a while. Surely, with the players they've brought in, you can't bring in Tonali, and struggle and finish 17th. I mean, Senesi is definitely going to strengthen their back line, as we all know what he can do, us Bournemouth fans. So I think they can challenge for Europe again.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt. They spent a lot of money, and it doesn't look like they're stopped at the moment. But it's interesting, isn't it, what Dave says there as well about De Zerbi. They actually think they've got the right man. I think they may well have. I agree with you, Matt. I think they're going to. Well, they can't do any worse, I think they're going to be top 8, top 6. Yeah, they're going to be up around that area. Madison's come back. What a player he is, on his own. What a creative midfielder. Yeah, agree with you, mate. Yeah.
Quickly, let's jump into the comments. I don't think it matters what they have brought. United, Tottenham have always had big players. It all comes down if they can work together. Yeah, that's a fair point, Sean.
Yeah.
Dave, you're a Bournemouth boy and now a Spursy fan. The mind boggles. Dominic, I think where they finished last year had scared them, so they will work a bit harder this season. Yeah, I think you're right, mate. They don't want to finish there again.
2
Definitely
years.
not.
They're 2 years running for the 17th. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't chuck in that European trophy there, it's even worse, isn't it? Okay, let's hear from another person that we work with, another podcast, Sidge from the Chelsea Fancast. I've had the pleasure of being on his show a few times. Great channel, so do check that one out as well. Give it a like and a subscribe. But this is what Sidge has had to say about Chelsea.
Okay, Chelsea Fancast, Stamford Chidge here. Chelsea, well, I have to say, I go into this season with more optimism than I have done for, that's certainly since Blueco took over, I think. Obviously, the first thing is we've hired a really elite manager for the first time since they sacked Thomas Tuchel. I've got high hopes for Xabi Alonso. Proper manager, elite manager, great track record at Bayer Leverkusen, of course, and he's managed one of the biggest clubs in the world in Real Madrid. And he was also, of course, a superb player, won everything as a player. So I think that he'll be a manager that are somewhat errant players and petulant players will respect, unlike Liam Rosinia or Callum McFarlane at the end of last season. So we've got a good manager, which gives me a lot of hope. Secondly, so we've already seen in the pre-season that he wants to hopefully use his 3-4-2-1 system, which means that we'll have wing-backs playing. We'll have 3 at the defence. I think we'll look more solid in defence. We've already, looked in a few of the matches that I've seen, a lot more of a threat going forward. They're moving the ball around quicker. Or more to the point, we're not playing that loathsome Maresca ball where we're just playing the ball sideways and backwards all the time, which nobody liked to watch at Stamford Bridge last season. It really got on our wick. We like to see good attacking, fluid football, and I think that that's the way that Alonso's going to go. Having said that, I think he's also quite pragmatic, and he will change systems and formations to suit whoever we're playing, and probably in game as well. So he may well drop to 4 at the back out of possession. But I prefer that. I like pragmatic managers who try and solve the problems that they're faced with, rather than just go, this is my philosophy, it's the only way I know how to play, because I think that's a load of nonsense. We've also, as well, departed from this ridiculous strategy of only buying, unheard of 15-year-old Brazilians and signing anybody over 25 was an absolute no-no. So we've gone out and signed a proven Premiership and international player in Rodgers, which I'm really excited about. But interestingly, we've also signed Henderson and Welbeck to add some experience to the side and some leadership, something we've been really lacking. And hopefully that will help the discipline problems that we've had as well. But actually, the signing that I'm most impressed with so far is Marcus Palestra, who looks a real decent player. He reminds me of Marcus Alonso, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the squad. Lacroix is another proven international centre-back, and we needed somebody in there. And, of course, we've got Chavarria, who I think will also be a good player. And, obviously, that's an Alonso pick. So it looks like he's got a lot more power and influence in the club than the previous managers, which can only be a good thing. I'm obviously a bit concerned about Fernandes, but frankly, I think his attitude has stunk the place out, and I don't think he's half as good as he thinks he is. So if he goes, I won't cry a tear. But we will need a quality replacement. Even though I don't think he's brilliant, I do think he's a good player. Let's be fair. He's played in the World Cup finals, so we'd need a good replacement for that, and I worry that time is running out to do that. But overall, I'm optimistic. We've only got 40 games this season because we've got no Europe. So I very much expect us to be in the top 4 by the end of the season. I would also like us to win something like the FA Cup because we haven't got over the line there for many years now. Unlike Cundy, I don't think we're going to win the league. I think that is a bit of a bridge too far, but I don't think we'll be far away if we can keep our key players like João Pedro, who we need to wrap in cotton wool because I think he's going to be an excellent striker, but I don't think there's much of a backup behind him. So we need to keep him fit. But yeah, overall, I'm in good shape, and so I think is the team, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Good luck to Bournemouth, of course, and hope to speak to you throughout the season. Cheers.
So that was Sige there, and yeah, we definitely will catch up during the season. Do you know what, Chelsea? I think they're gonna be challenging again for European places. I do agree. I think they fall short of the title. Don't think they're quite there yet, but very interesting to see Henderson and Welbeck go there, Paul. I think they're going to really add some experience to that young squad that they've got there.
Yeah, I think Danny Welbeck could get a few games and get a few goals, mate. He seems to pop up, doesn't he? He seems to know. I'd love him at Bournemouth, Danny Welbeck. Too late now. He'd be great for us.
Yeah, he would have definitely added some experience.
Sorry, mate. Yeah. I've seen this guy's channel before, this Chidge. He knows his Chelsea, mate. He knows his stuff.
Oh, knows Chelsea like the back of his hand.
He does. Very, very good at what he says. And I agree. There's a lot of teams who are saying top 6, but they'll be up there. Yeah. Henderson, good. I'm not sure.
Good signing. I think it's a good signing, interesting signing. I think he's being brought in probably similar to what he'd done for England at the World Cup to do a specific role. And I think that specific role is going to be, like Sige was saying, some of the disciplinary issues and things like that, maybe to, kind of pass on that experience to those younger players. And, he is a model professional. Whatever you do, you can't take away that from Henderson. He's a model professional. So, yeah, interesting signing, I think, that one. And in Roberto, we trust. Yes, absolutely, Dave. Well, let's hear from an Everton fan now. And Everton and this guest, Tony, he's making his debut on the channel, but he will be joining us next week, Paul, I believe. Is that correct?
He will be our special guest, mate. Yeah, he's sent the check in to both of us. We've received the money. Is that right, Tony? You're coming on? Good lad. Look forward. No, I'm only joking. Look forward to having you on, Tony. Brilliant. Born in Liverpool, supports Everton. Yeah.
Excellent. Let's hear from him now.
Yeah.
Afternoon, guys. Thanks for the invite for my quick preview of this Premier League 26-27 season for Everton Football Club, my beloved club that I love and support. Before we get into it, if Everton are able to sign a right back, a left back, maybe another winger and a decent striker, then we might have the tools to finish in the upper echelons of the Premier League. So nothing to be too excited about this season. The word stability has been used for the last couple of seasons, maybe, since Moyes came back. A word that we don't really sort of enjoy hearing. We want to do better than being stable. We want to be up there challenging. So with those players that do come in, we may have the tools to compete again. So heart saying top 10, 7th, 8th place finish, Europa Conference qualification. Would be an excellent start. Good run in the FA Cup. Looking forward to it. Palace at home first game. So hopefully we can kick off and get a victory against the Eagles at Hill Dickinson, and then we travel down to Dean Court to face the Cherries, which I'm sure we will be having a conversation about very shortly. So yeah, 8th place finish, conference qualification, good one in the FA Cup. Up the Toffees.
There we go. There's Tony, and he will be our guest next week on the show. Just let's pop to the comments very quickly before we discuss Everton. Chelsea should be pushing on this season. Alonso is going to get the best out of his squad. Doug, good to see you, buddy. Your video is up soon, so stay tuned, mate. You haven't missed it if you're just joining us. Everyone's saying hello there to each other. And what's the name of the Chelsea channel? That is the Chelsea Fancast. So do check it out. You can find them on YouTube and other platforms as well. So do definitely check them out. Definitely check them out. You can have Ricardson back.
That's Everton.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm just going to very quickly, because I've got some other videos quickly to sort out. But just in the meantime, just as a little filler, I'll leave you with this.
AFC Bournemouth fans, we have got something special for you. Up the Cherries has partnered with Kitbag to offer you special deals on your AFC Bournemouth shirts for the 26-27 season. Are you after the traditional home shirt made by Hummel? Are you after the away vibrant shirt in purple? Or maybe the marshmallow third shirt? Whatever your choice is, you can get exclusive deals, discounts, and offers through Kitbag and through the link that is on the screen now. Scan it with your phone, the QR code, and it will take you straight away to the Kitbag site where all the details will be. We will also be putting up any special codes that you may need. So go check out Kitbag, the leading sports goods seller in the UK and beyond for all your AFC Bournemouth goods. Kitbag and Up the Cherries, partnering together to bring you your shirts this season.
Well, there we go. A little bit there on the shirts. And keeping with the Bournemouth theme, I think it's time to hear from a Bournemouth fan. And of course, who else could we ask apart from our friend Malcolm, who's been great with our show and has been on a few times. So we thought, let's ask him his thoughts. And these are the thoughts of Malcolm.
Yeah, hi Matt, Paul, and everybody else who's in the chat. Welcome from Berlin. Matt has asked me to give you a few words about pre-season, my thoughts. Plenty to talk about. He only wants 3 to 5 minutes. I don't know if that's long enough, but here we go. I think pre-season has been very, very good. Really impressed with what I've seen. Like the idea of the bigger squad. Really impressed with the new signings that the club has brought in. We can only hope that certainly Mr. Rodriguez will soon be up, fit and running and embedded into the first team, as Krupi is currently out injured. First game coming up at the weekend, Man City, should be really interesting, I think, having watched the Community Shield. Nothing to be scared of. And then obviously at the end of the month we'll know who our opposition is for the Europa League. But we'll start with the squad. I think they've done a really good job. Hardly any outgoings, which is really impressive. Daniel Jefferson has come back on from his loan spell, as Max Arns has as well. Jeva has done really, really good in pre-season, and I'm certainly hoping that he will decide to stay at the club and keep pushing and pushing to get a regular spot. Other players that sort of really stood out for me, goes without saying, Trofeo, Mr. Reliable, Mr. Consistency. There's also others who are knocking on the door. Diakite has certainly shown some improvement. Alex Todt, for me, German, is also one I think should get many more minutes. Ben Gannon Doak, what can you say? Let's have him in the team as well. Unfortunately, we can only have 11 players on the pitch at the same time. But it's all looking very positive. I like the togetherness of the squad. They look sharp. If there's going to be a bit of criticism, slow starting at games. I think I really have to go on the front foot against certain teams, but certainly not leave it sort of 20 minutes before they actually get into it. The tweaks that Marco Rosa's making, certainly impressive. It's a bit of a carry-on from where Andoni left us, I think. I've got no worries, no qualms, and very positive about what the season will bring. Maybe another 1 or 2 players could come in. I'm not quite sure. Have to wait and see. But I'm really looking forward to Sunday's first game. What the starting lineup will be. It'll be very interesting. I think most of the players have given Marco Rosa plenty of food for thought. I don't know what your idea of the starting 11 would be. I haven't a clue, to be honest with you. I really haven't got a clue. But if they're all fighting for places and they all up for it, then it's just going to be, take your pick from 1 to 11. As far as the season goes itself, generally, my prediction would be a top 10 finish at least. Maybe a little bit higher than 8th would be good. It would be very nice indeed. Would love to see them go a long way in the Europa League. And then obviously the 2 cup competitions is also another possibility. Now, we can't forget some of the academy players either, who've also joined the training camp in the summer. Possibilities for them to step up and get regular minutes, but who knows. But everything around the club at the moment looks really positive. There's obviously the women's team, the academy. I just heard that they're playing their games at Wimborne Town's ground. Super job. The stadium as well, improvements, and you'll have the moaners saying, oh, this isn't ready, that isn't ready. Rome won't be built in a day, or was it Rome? I can't remember. But anyway, that's enough for me, jibber jabber. Positive of the season, glass always half full, up the cherries. Oof.
Happy days, and thank you there, Malcolm, for that. Just quickly jump into the chat. There is a comment here, which is a player that Malcolm has mentioned, and a player that I'm a big fan of as well, and that's Ben Gannon Doak. We are hoping he has a great season, Doug, because that's going to be really great for us, but also will be beneficial to Scotland as well. Very excited, aren't we, Paul? Very excited. Europe, I really think this is going to be a great season. I really do. I'm really positive about it. But we'll see what happens, won't we? It's going to be a great ride, whatever happens, isn't it, Paul?
Sure. We've got a new goalkeeper arriving for a medical on Monday, Michel Di Grigoro. I hope I pronounced that right. It's a loan deal, season loan deal. He's agreed to sign. It's all been agreed with an option to buy him for 14 million. But he's rocking up for his from Juventus. He's rocking up for his medical on Monday, as far as I know. So we've got a new goalkeeper. And I did laugh when I asked you.
Oh no! I was just highlighting it out to Doug. If he was, you carry on. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, mate. No, that's fine. I'll have a look in a moment. But new goalkeeper, which is great. We need it. We need this backup. It only takes Petrovic to get injured in the first game, and we were up the chute. We need it. I still believe we need another signing. I still think we need another forward. We need a goal scorer, another one, and then I think we're right. I know we've kept our players, but you know, when you look at Toth and Jefferson, they got big mountains to climb, those guys. So yeah, look, I'll be happy. 12th, 13th, wouldn't bother me. Love to see Bournemouth in Europe. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's move on to Liverpool now. And first of all, we will hear from Doug. But firstly, let's hear from Dominic, who is also making his debut today on the channel. And let's hear what he's got to say right now.
Paul, thanks for having me on the show. Dom from Victoria here, big Liverpool supporter, as you can tell by the LFC training gear from last season that I'm currently repping. I think I speak for most, if not all, Liverpool supporters when I say we're a bit underwhelmed by what we saw by last season. However, I do think this season will be slightly different, if not greatly different, especially under the newly appointed Andoni Iraola. I think his play style, which is quite high pressing, really suits the squad and will bring that high intensity football that us fans have come to know and love, especially under that Jurgen Klopp era, which was sorely missed last year. Which I think, to be fair, we have seen a glimpse of through the pre-season, especially that first half against Leeds. I mean, all we need to really do is look at Andoni Iraola's impact that he had on Bournemouth and the progression they had over the last few years, especially last season, considering they still finished high up despite having sold quite a few players, I'm not mistaken, especially along their defensive line. I'm also excited to see if he can unlock the full potential of players such as Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez and Alexander Isak to show us supporters exactly why we paid for them in the first place, which I think will come a bit easier for Kerkez, seeing as he's used to the guidance under Iraola. I must say, though, I do think we need to be a bit more active in the transfer market. As much as I would love having Bradley Barcola, which is his only rumoured at this stage, I think our focus should be more on our defensive line, as we still have quite a bit of injuries back there. Connor Bradley's still out, Giovanni Leone's out, Jeremy Jacquet hasn't even been able to start because he's been injured. And as far as Frimpong and Kerkez, they're brilliant players, but we just haven't seen them unlocked. And I think Frimpong is, in particular, has shown he's more suited towards being a wing-back than a full-back. I don't think we need to so much as go out and buy new defenders. If anything, just chuck one on loan just for the sake of a year until some of these players can come back and get back up to the gear they need to be running in. Finally, I think, like all football fans, we'd love to see our team's going to win the league. This year it could happen. We do have the star power to have it, be another year for the mighty Reds to take home the trophy. But Iraola really has got to get the team off the ground and running straight off the bat. I think a more realistic sort of finish for me would at least be top 3, with a top 5 finish as a bare minimum. That's what we all come to expect with Liverpool. It's, the amount of money and star players there, a top 5 is a minimum for us.
There we go. There is Dominic. Thank you, Dom, for your video. And before we discuss Liverpool, let's listen to our good friend Doug from the Dugout Football Channel.
Hello, Matt. Hello, everybody on Up the Cherries and All Departments.
Oh, sorry. Bit of a glitch there.
I'm here to give you my quick thoughts on Liverpool's upcoming 26-27 season. Apologies for the way I look. I have not been very, very well recently. So you'll have to do this, Douglas. Anyway, but I am getting better. Let's put it that way. First things first. Last season, very disappointing. After winning the league at a canter almost, we just fell back into really poor season. 5th place, obviously, we got Champions League. That was the main thing out of the season as well. But really, really disappointing to go from winning the league and then having a season. I think it was about 20 defeats, I think, in all comps that we had, and obviously Arne Slot had to go in the end, which was disappointing. But I understood why he had to go. The performances weren't good enough. So we have your old boss, Andoni Iraola, who I'm a big fan of. I'm a very, very big fan of. I think he's going to be very, very good for us. And already we're seeing in pre-season that he's already bringing his ideas across. And one thing I wanted to basically say is that there's already a big stark contrast between Arne Slot's football and Andoni Iraola's football. And I think Andoni Iraola plays a style of football that Liverpool fans want to see. I don't think they really took to Slot. So I think you can kind of see that they're already taken to Andoni Iraola. Signings wise, well, we've obviously lost Mo Salah, we've lost Andy Robertson, and we've brought in Jeremy Jackie, we've brought in Ronald Araujo, which one raised a few eyebrows, but I fully understood it because it's a player who is getting back to his form, coming up back from a serious injury as well. So, look, this season, I'd expect a Champions League finish. I would expect at least to go deep into the Champions League. And maybe going deep into the cup competitions. That's something we haven't really done recently, is go deep into those cup competitions. I do think it is a season of transition. Look, let's be honest. Going from one style of football to another style of football is very, very difficult indeed. Obviously, you guys have got Marco Rose, who I am also a big fan of as well. But my initial thoughts are third place. I think that you look at Man City and Arsenal, I think those two are probably head and shoulders above everybody else. And then it's obviously the chasing pack of obviously ourselves, Manchester United, Chelsea. I'd even throw Villa in there as well. So going to be a very, very difficult season. But my initial thoughts ahead of the season is I think we finish third. I do like Andoni Iraola's style of football, and I think if he gets the players in that he needs, I think we'll be fine. I think you're going to see a much bigger season from Alexander Isak. I think Florian Wirtz will probably gel now as well. And also, I think you'll see another very fabulous season from Dominic Szoboszlai as well. But there we go, guys. There are my quick thoughts on the season ahead. I'm hoping that Bournemouth have a very, very good season, obviously with European football in there as well. And I will say you are in very, very safe hands with Marco Rose. I think he is a very, very good manager. Very feisty, as you can see from pre-season anyway. But guys, I will see you guys very, very soon. Probably we'll see you in a preview or so at some point. But very good luck for the season, and I hope you do very, very well. Cheers, guys.
There we go. There's Doug, and cheers to Doug for recording that. He was poorly, but he was much better when he did the tier list with us earlier on in the week. But Paul, couple of good opinions there on Liverpool. I think Andoni is going to have a great impact there, just like he did here. Like Malcolm said here, you know, for your Liverpool fans, strap in and hold on to your hats. They're going to have a great ride under Andoni. Will they win the Premier League? I mean, you're tipping them too. I think not, but if he did, it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, they're going to have a very good season, aren't they?
I think Malcolm's reading my mind. I was just going to come out with the words Doug is in for, and Dominic, you guys are in for a fast ride, mate. This guy, your first game is away at Newcastle, you'll win. You will win that
Always
game.
an exciting game, that one, normally anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, but they'll win. They'll win. I'm not sure. You see, this is what happened when Eddie went to Newcastle. I'll make it brief. Eddie went to Newcastle. Oh, you know, another Southerner, this, that, and the other. I'm not sure about him. You wait. You don't even know what you've got, mate, with Andoni. You don't know. You're going to find out, and you're going to love him. I mean, I'm so upset we lost that guy, but that's football. I'm picking Liverpool to go all the way. That's me. Yeah, there you go.
And talking of Newcastle, we're going to hear from a Newcastle fan next. But let's just quickly go through the comments. Vanessa, yes, hopefully they'll keep on with the signings. We need to push forward. Absolutely, that's for Bournemouth. Feel sorry for Will Dennis. Looked good in pre-season. Yeah, but I don't know if he is. I love Will Dennis. I think he's great. He's a great professional. Trains hard. It's a difficult job, isn't it, being a goalkeeper? Because if you are that number 2 or number 3 goalkeeper, getting game time is so difficult. So he's a great professional, Will Dennis. It's just, is he enough to push Petrovic is the question. Big Dom, the Aussie Scouser. Yeah, great to hear from Dom. And what we'll do, hopefully later on in the season when we play Liverpool, be great to get Dom on. Be great to get maybe Doug on as well together, and have a good show later on in the season. Definitely. Don't worry how you look, Doug. You should see me from Malcolm. He wasn't very well at all. Bless him. Felt vindicated when Liverpool got Arehu on loan. Felt almost like they heard my video. Absolutely, mate. Tony, we will see you next week. Absolutely, we will. And that also brings me to this comment earlier on from Malcolm. Nice one, Tony. Look forward to seeing you next week on the show. Absolutely, we will look forward to seeing you, mate. Time for Spot the Ball. Not quite yet, but thanks for the reminder. Doug, I'm with you. I've been unwell, but getting better. But I have arthritis now, so keep your pecker up. Yeah, and you as well, mate. Great for you to join us every week. It's great to see you back with us on the show and in the chat. Right, let's hear from our Newcastle fan. We've only got a couple more to go through, and we're now going to hear from a good friend of the channel, a great guy, and that is Mr. John Sinclair.
How are you doing, guys? I hope you well. This is John Sinclair TV and Newcastle fan, as you know. And this season, I'm getting a lot of people come up to us and say we're going to struggle this season because we lost in quality players like Gordon, Guimaraes and Tonali, and brought in the 6 new players who bought in, and some was 20 years old, 18 years old and that. And people say they're not quite ready for the football club. So Eddie Howe's left the club. We got a new manager in Matiz Yasso coming in, and it's going to be all change at Newcastle United. In my opinion, it's going to be a transitional season, off and on the pitch, and I'm not expecting too much for the club. I'm not going to sit here and say, look, we're going to struggle this season. We're going to be in big trouble. I know the media's come out and say we're going to be in big trouble this season, unfortunately, but I don't think we will, because we have got leaders in the football club at like Dan Burn, Fabian Scher. Those two are leaders, and Joe Linton, when he gets match fit, he could be our leader as well. But I'm looking forward to the season, like I do every season. I'm going to be positive, and I think we're going to be okay. I think mid-term would be good for us. I would say 10th this season, 10th, 11th this season, and that would be a really good season for Newcastle United. But I will say, keep the faith, stop stressing out. We've got a great manager there. I think it's going to be really good first year, but we still need to get rid of a few other players as well, like Joe Willock, Jacob Murphy, and Nick Pope. If you're going to have a rebuilding program, you cannot rebuild with those 3 names I mentioned. We still need more players. We need an experienced midfielder. Palina will be good. Ruben Neves will be a good acquisition as well. But we linked to Nico Gonzalez as well for Man City. I hope we get him. We get one of them lot in the summer before the new season. Then Newcastle United will have a really good season. But we've got to remain positive, see what happens, and see how it goes. We're lads.
And there we go. John Sinclair, great channel. Do sub to his channel. He now goes around to all sorts of different football games, from non-league to, I think he was, I can't remember where he was this week, but he was somewhere at a derby this week, and he does all these blogs. It's fantastic. But Newcastle there, he's being very, very positive. I think they're going to struggle. That's my personal opinion, but they won't get relegated. I think they're sort of maybe finish sort of around the 14th, 15th mark. Don't really know a lot about their manager, to be fair, so could be judging it completely wrong. But I just think losing Bruno, Tonali, I mean, massive, midfielders that they've lost. And yeah. And the thing is with that midfield is, I think, the way they operated, they were I think one of the best midfields in the Premier League at one point, and to lose 2 of them is massive. Your thoughts, Paul?
Yeah, Eddie's hard to replace. We found that out when he left Bournemouth. I think I agree with John. Lovely guy, John. I think I agree with him. I'll be looking 14th, 15th. They're not going to do. They might do well in one of the cups. You don't know, do you? But that's my opinion. They're going to have a difficult season. But there you go. Yeah.
Right. Well, only a couple more now to hear from, and one of them is tomorrow's opponents. And we're now going to hear from the Shades of Blue podcast.
Crunk Chocolate here to talk about Manchester City. Losing Pep Guardiola was difficult, as is losing any decade-long relationship. Was not the most excited about Enzo Maresca because I wasn't thrilled how he jumped ship from Leicester City to Chelsea and then Chelsea to Man City with little shame. Chelsea, incredibly chaotic club with the ownership, Bowley and company, Beluco. I get it, you know. But I do have to say, his press interviews with the media, the practice videos being shared, the propaganda has flipped me. I am pro Maresca. Call me fake, whatever. Let's go Baldy. What is intriguing to me is learning the tactics of a new manager, how he handles the media, the players, his time management. Who will be the first player he gets into it with? These are the questions I want to know. After a decade with Pep, he is replaced by another bald man with an accent that I am sure was to help the fan base transition easier, you know, be a little more calm. Everything else will be new experiences, and that is invigorating. I am trying to have little expectation when it comes to this upcoming season. There will be moments where I'll have to fight against who I am or what I've experienced in the last decade, I guess. Not who I am. What I've been able to experience in the last decade. Tons of success, heights that very few clubs have experienced. And there's just so many unknowns. So for me, top four is important to everything that the club does. The UEFA money, Champions League attracts the best players in the world, and that means the club is competitive for most of the season. Let's see what the 26-27 season brings, and then in April we can figure out if the season was a disappointment. There will be a small little gremlin in me who will be screaming, and I will have to smile through the pain if City finish third or fourth. I won't lie to y'all. Losing Rodri makes winning the league significantly more difficult. Losing a Ballon d'Or winner who was key to Spain winning the World Cup, you cannot replace a player like that. Hearing the talks about Buati from Lille is very nice, but nobody can put the responsibility and expectations we would have given Rodri to an 18-year-old in their first season in the Premier League. Looking at the transfer window as a whole, it's been relatively quiet from Hugo Viana, and I thought I would see bold transfer strategies. Bringing in Elliot Anderson, he's a 23-year-old, Three Lions player, was one of the best players on England statistically and with the eye test, I would say. Mega move. I do expect a few players to leave. You know, there's Jack Grealish, Rodri of it all, James Trafford just went to Leeds, Omar Marmoush, Tijani Reinders. They all come to mind. The question is, can City get proper replacements without having to overpay due to their lack of intent early in the transfer window? Overall, cautiously optimistic, always going to back the Blues. You know the vibes. Come on, City.
There we go. And I was on their podcast earlier on this week, and do give them a sub and a subscribe as well. But going to be a tough one, I think, this season for City with losing Rodri. Interesting points there on Maresca. Where do they finish, Paul? Are they in the top four?
only just, I reckon. I mean, when Rodri was injured for a long time, they suffered without him. Things didn't look as sweet as they could have looked. And, you know, you've got to remember that City fans have had it good for 10 years. If things aren't... Oh, here we go. If City don't get it all their own way by Christmas and the fans turn, you know, anything can happen in football, any old game. But lovely guy. Yeah. Yeah. Fourth, yeah, maybe. Yeah. They're not going to win it. I don't think they're going to win it. Yeah. Yeah, not half. Yeah, not half. Yeah.
Yeah, disappointed in the Community Shield. Big improvement is needed. I mean, I was watching the Community Shield last week and I'm thinking, please play like that next Sunday because we might have a chance. But yeah, a top 6 finish I think is very achievable. Well, we will wrap up the show very shortly, but we've got one more person to hear from, and that person is now works with us on the channel with our UTCID transfer shows, and Dylan Reid is going to give us a bit of a lowdown on what he thinks and how he thinks the Premier League is going to turn out this season. So over to you, Dylan.
Hello to everybody watching the Up the Cherries in All Departments YouTube channel. My name is Dylan Reid and here are my predictions for the Premier League season. First of all, my free to go down. In last place, I've got Hull City. To be honest, I've not been impressed by their signings. Brought a lot of players through, not a lot of quality. Dead last. In 19th, I've gone for Ipswich Town. I'm admiring their spending power. I appreciate how much they've spent, but I'm not sure they've brought enough quality in to stay up. I like Gary O'Neill, but I don't think he's got it in it to keep the Tractor Boys up. So I'm going for 19th there. And in 18th, I think it'll go really close between this team and Fulham. Maybe Crystal Palace and Sunderland will get dragged in as well. But I've got Coventry to return to the Championship as well. It's a boring answer, I know, to have all 3 teams who came up straight back down. But unfortunately, I don't think Frank Lampard's Coventry will have enough to stay in the Premier League. So those are my 3 to go down. Talking about European football now, I do think the top 5 will get Champions League football again, meaning 8th will qualify for the Conference League. I do think that team is going to be Brentford. I think teams around them having to put up with European football, like Bournemouth, like Brighton, who I do think will qualify for the Conference League in the end. I really like their recruitment. I like Keith Andrews. I really like the addition of Sangare in midfield. So I do have Brentford finishing 8th and getting European football for the first time in their history, I believe. Moving on to Europa League football. For me, it's going to be the teams who finish in 7th and 6th. In 7th, I've gone for Manchester United. Look, I like their midfield rebuild, and I think they've signed 3 quality midfielders, but I still think they lack defensive depth, and I'm not a fan of Michael Carrick. I think they've done another Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I don't think they've got the quality to really push for those Champions League places, despite no European football this year. So 7th for them. In 6th, I've gone for Tottenham Hotspur. Some absolutely unbelievable recruitment, great free transfers in Senesi and Robertson, rebuilt their midfield really well. But even if they do get the deal for Marmoush over the line in the end, looks like they're going to sign Savinho as well. I don't think they've got enough firepower and attack, and I do think they will be a bit Spursy at time and lose a few games they probably shouldn't. So I've got Tottenham finishing 6th, and in the top 5, I've got Liverpool under Andoni Iraola in 5th. That team is paper thin, so they might play some good football, but whether they have got the numbers to compete all year, I doubt it. In 4th, Aston Villa. Sold a lot of key players, but I think they've replaced them pretty well, and I will never doubt Unai Emery. I think he's a world-class manager, and I do think Villa will qualify for the Champions League. In 3rd, I've gone for Chelsea. I'm a really big fan of Xabi Alonso. I think their recruitment's been good. They're always high spenders, but I do think they've got it right, blending youth and experience again. And in 2nd place, my controversial take. I'm sure there'll be a few, especially Manu, who disagree with me. I've got Arsenal in 2nd. I don't think this team has got the attacking firepower or the mentality to be able to challenge for the Premier League once again, or at least retain it. And I do think this year Arteta will prioritise a Champions League, the first in Arsenal's history, after they got so close last year, which means I have got Enzo Maresca's Manchester City lifting the Premier League. A poor show in the Community Shield, but I do think they'll warm up as the year goes on. They've got a lot of firepower, Doku, Semenyo, obviously Erling Haaland up front, and I do really like how they've rebuilt the midfield. I do think Ayub Buwadi will join. Maybe they get one more midfielder if Nico Gonzalez leaves. They've got some world-class players in defence, and I do really like Maresca. So I've got Manchester City winning the Premier League.
Well, there we go. Very, very different opinions there to to some of the other things we've heard today, but that is where Dylan thinks the Premier League and how the Premier League will work out this season. But yeah, big thank you to everybody who's contributed to this show. It's been great to hear everybody's opinions and give our little views on it. It's been a good one, Paul, isn't it? But we have got Spot the Ball to do.
Yeah, let's do it, mate. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's go for it, mate. Yeah. Yeah, it has
Here
been.
we go. There we go. So that was the image at the beginning of the show. Let's have a look at some of the guesses. Chris Hubble's gone with D. Malcolm's gone with B. Tony went with B. Vanessa went with D. Julie went with B. David went with B. And David went with C. Nick reckons it's either A, B, C, or possibly D. So I think he might get it right. But today, Spot the Ball, and the first Spot the Ball of the new season. The answer is B.
B, yeah, got it. Good.
There we go, B. But that concludes then, Paul, our preview show, our first show of the new season.
Look, it has been a long show, but I think to see the different personalities for me has been eye-opening, and I'm sure anybody that stayed with us would have thought the same. We've got a big show next week.
Yes.
We've got Bournemouth Everton to cover, and we have our special guest Tony, which I'm looking forward to. So please, guys, join us next week, and thank you, Matt, for that. Matt really has put in a lot of work in this show. Yeah, really an awful lot of work. You can see brilliant stuff. So, yeah, thank you, Matt, for that.
No, thank you, Paul. And yes, like Paul's just said, next week we will have Tony with us. And thank you for all your nice comments there that I've just gone through there very quickly. Looking forward to the music section on future shows. Yes, the music section will be back next week. As you could tell, we couldn't really fit one in. And thank you, Dom. Yeah, it was great to have you part of it, mate. And yeah, hopefully we can get you on, mate, in the future. It'd be great to have you join me and Paul one day. It'd be great, mate. Well done, Chris. Yeah. See you soon, buddy. But yeah, thank you again to everybody who contributed. Thank you to Paul for your kind words there on putting the show together. And myself and Paul will be back next week with Tony as our guest, and also with the music section, as well as Spot the Ball, and as well as some other topics to talk about, which I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about. And also the predictions as well. We have done predictions this week, myself and Paul, but we will go over all the predictions next week, because we are in the Pure Predictions League now, which apparently I'm currently top of. But anyway, it's only one game. Paul's a close second. But anyway,
runner-up, mate. I'm a runner-up. I thought I was top this morning. I got up and I thought I'm top of the league, mate. But apparently I'm second.
Well, there you go. But until the next one,
it's only by VAR, Matt. You got there. You know that.
Yeah, probably. But thanks to everyone for watching. Tune in next week. And from me and Paul, it's a goodbye from me, and it's a goodbye from him. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.